What is up YouTube, this is Joe from Zephyrwargames, and today I'm bringing you another deck profile, this time also IRL, and that profile is going to be for one of my favourite boys, Gammamon. So I picked up Gammamon like from the get-go after watching Ghost Game, and I just fell in love with this little character. Like, he's such a cute character. I really love him and his personality, and his deck, once all the support finally all came out, has just been a lot of fun. Like, it's always one of my pet decks now, that if I just need to play casually, you know, with people, just like help me get into the game or anything like that, like, I'm picking up Gammamon. Like, it's like, I just love this deck. But don't take a grain of salt. Like, take that with a grain of salt, or do take it with a grain of salt, because I don't know, my terminology is bad today. Because I do try to play this as competitively as possible, and this profile is with all that lessons and work put into it in mind, mostly through my playtesting and resources that I have seen online, and just again all that compared to my own overall experience. This is the build that I currently have built, and it's going to be put through testing after Utrecht's all finished this coming December. I'll probably go back to Gamma now and then and like, you know, fiddle test with it a bit more, trying to find like the best, most optimal build. So before I get into the profile, if you enjoyed, give us a like and subscribe down below, and ding that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future Digimon content. And again, in that description below, you'll be able to find our website, mydigimoncg.com, which is, again, is created by my good friend Joe, where you can build, create, and log and get all the stats for all the decks that you are building for the Digimon TCG. You can do all of that on that website. It's great, it's very handy, and it is super, if you're getting into competitive Digimon, it's a great way to keep track of your builds on the decks that you're playing, especially if you're coming out to big events. You know, having that one deck that you know, I'm going to play this for the event, and you can keep track of that as you go, make new builds, test out those new builds with the text and ratios that you put into that, and you can see the statistics on how well each build is performing, and then you can mathematically, you know, find the most optimal build for your decks. And all of that you can do on my Digimon deck stats, and you'll be able to see that link in the description below. So with all that said and done, let's get into the deck profile, starting off with the eggs. You know, as you can also tell, I have tried to max rarity this deck, and it is literally max rarity. This deck, I love it so much. 4 copies of BT8 Gammamon. This is your most optimal egg in my personal opinion, because it's not relying on the tamer to be in play to give you your consistency of draws. This is just requires you to have 6k DP or more, which, you know, once you're level 4 and above, you're going to have that. So 4 copies of Gammamon. Next, we're playing 4 copies of the RB1 Gammamon. This is your main, one of your main searches. On play, look at top 3, add any card with Gammamon in its text and 1 hero Manakawa to your hand. And its inherent ability is, if you have Gamma in your text, you have 2k boost. Nice and good, consistent there. Next, we have 4 copies of the Promo 59 Gammamon. This is, you know, just your other generic DP booster for the deck. If you have a hero in play, you get 2k. Very nice there. Next, we're playing 2 copies of the BT8 Gammamon. If you're 6k or more, you pop something 3,000 less on swing, and once per turn on your turn, if you play a red tamer, you get to draw a card. Bear in mind that once you get into your level 5s and above, you do get all the effects of Gammamon in your stack. So if you have this underneath when you play a tamer, you're getting an extra draw, which is nice, a little extra bit of consistency there. And then lastly, for the level 3 Gammamons, we're playing 2 copies of the LM Gammamon. This is all turns, once per turn. If one of your other Digimon is deleted by an effect, this Digimon may digivolve into a Gamma in text from your trash without paying cost. The inherent is on delete, you may play a hero from your hand. I was playing 4 copies of this, but there's a certain consistency card I'm playing in the deck, which you could probably now guess what it is, which kind of conflicts with this Gammamon. And I found that as well, in testing, you only really need to see like one of these and then you can start abusing it. So having the 4 copies in the deck, yet maybe early game you can start springing with your Gulu Gammamons and start getting free tamers on board, but you can also just do that by evolving into a Battle Gammamon, which we'll see later on. So I find like you don't 100% need this in the early game, so having the 2 copies for the mid-late game to start abusing with your megas and your ultimates to start climbing up a little bit for free, or like a nice bit of recovery play. It's kind of like why I've dropped it down to 2. I guess for the last level 3 though, we are playing 2 copies of the LM Pokemon. This is your other searcher. On play, look at top 4, but you only get to have 1 card with Gammamon and its text among them. But all turns, this is your protection, where if your other with one of your Digimon with Gammamon and its text will leave the battle area, you can delete Pokemon instead to save it. This combines with your purple Gammamon. By having Pokemon delete itself to protect your stack, Gammamon can then start digivolving for free. Moving on to champions, we're playing 3 copies of the RB1 Gurus Gammamon. I kind of prefer this Gurus to the BT10 Gurus because, yeah, retaliation's great, but like, let's be honest, your opponent's not going to fall for it anymore. Like, we're way past, you know, BT1 days of, you know, retail actually being a threat, my personal opinion. So I quite like the ability of having this as a aggressive swinger to delete swings. I mean, like, yeah, you could probably get some retaliation swings into a suspended Digimon, but I find that unless you're suspending them yourself, you're not really going to get them. So what this Gurus does, though, is that at end of attack, you can delete itself to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with equal or less DP than this. Bear in mind that your Gammamon is already making him an 8k boost. In combination with your tamers, you can get up to like 10, 12 quite easily. So you can start deleting megas just by swinging with this guy. But on delete, you may play a Gammamon from your suspended from your trash without paying cost. No enhance because the level 5s are going to give the main effects to our top end. So we're playing 3 copies of the Gurus Gammamon. Next, we're playing 4 copies each of the Battle Gammamons. The RB1 one lets you play on Digivolve a hero from your hand if you don't have one and has Raid natively. The BT8 one has Blitz natively when Digivolving. So this is a pretty strong combination together, where you can, if you get one already on the main stack, you can then use the tamer to tuck the other one underneath. So when you start getting into your ultimates and megas, you can start doing raid and blitzing when digivolving, which is very strong for removing opposing threats, because you can get quite big on your turn, which then means you can raid into the highest unsuspended thing while also doing it when the memory passes over thanks to blitz. So very, very strong abilities there. And last week we were playing 1 copy of the Gammamon for the additional blocker. Moving on into our ultimates, we're playing 4 copies of the RB1 Can of Icemon. I really like this card, especially in combination with a card later on. This card really not only helps get your first stack aggressively fast, but then if that gets removed, this helps you get your next stack aggressively fast, as it has the ability to evolve on a level 3 Gammamon for free cost, but so long as it has a Gammamon name in its sources, which your tamer will do that for you. So you can warp straight from 3 to 5, which your opponent, unless if they know the deck already, is going to be like, what the hell? Like, that was fast. And you're like, yes it was. So we're playing 4 copies of the Can of Icemon. And we're playing 2 copies of RB1 Regulus Spawn and the 1 Regulus Ace. So RB1 Regulus is probably like your most powerful stack, in a sense that, you know, once you get into the Regulus, your opponent's gonna think twice deleting your stack, because if they do, Regulus's ability when digivolving and when attacking, you can trash a card in hand to give one of your Digimon the ability on delete, kill the lowest thing. So if they are a one stack deck that likes to delete things, if you triggered this ability, they're not going to remove your thing because they're going to lose their thing unless they have protection. So we're playing 2 copies of this and the 1 ace. The ace is not only, to ace on your champion, but it's a very, very strong 5 cost on play, which if you have another thing in play, you can combo it very well with the Pokemon to start, chipping and climbing up further. If you have the purple Gammamon as well underneath. So what the Regulus ace does is that on play and when digivolving, you can trash your card in hand to then tuck one of your Digimon in trash with Gammamon and its text. If a card all turns gets tucked underneath this, you can pop a 4 or lower to play back a 4 or lower. So the most common thing you would do is that you would have this in a stack with the purple Gamma, which then you'd use Regulus ace to trash a thing, tuck a thing, which is probably going to be your Can of Ice or your other Regulus to get the inherentables of them, which are all turns. The top thing has, this Digimon has all the effects of Gammamon in its stack. So you use Regulus ace to tuck one of these in, and you pop your Pokemon to play back your Pokemon, or anything else, which then will trigger your Gammamon inherent to then climb you to a level 6 from your trash, which is very, very powerful. Speaking of the level 6s, we're playing two copies of RB1 Seriousmon and 1 copy of Seriousmon Ace. RB1 Seriousmon is probably your main form of simple delete, which is when digivolving, you can place a Digimon card with Gammamon and its text from your hand as a Suspend Digivolution card to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. And your turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. So this in combination with the raid means that you can swing, raid into the highest thing, delete it, unsuspend, and then swing again if the memory is still over to you. Obviously though, if you did the raid and blitz, you would digivolve, delete something, swing, raid into something with the blitz, delete it, unsuspend. So then you are unsuspended for your opponent's turn, which makes it a bit less easier for them to delete you. The Seriousmon Ace though is that it can blast on anything with the Gammamon and its text. Bear in mind this is also the same for Regulus, but Gammamon in name. So what Serious Ace does is that, again, like the Seriousmon, you can tuck something from your hand underneath this, as long as it's got Gammamon and its text. And then you can delete something with 8,000 DP or less. It gets 1 extra 1,000 for its DP based deletion effects for every color in its sources. So obviously they did that because Gammamon, is a RGB kind of deck, which has like all the colors of the rainbow in it. So you can get to like some okay numbers. I kind of like not happy though with the low threshold of like 8,000. I kind of wish it was like 10,000 or something like that, though that's probably asking a bit too much. But yeah, so the most you're going to probably get to this is like 10,000 at most. And then all turns, if a person Digimon is deleted, you gain 1 memory, which is very, very nice. The other issue that I have is that it is a 4 cost. But the reason we also play the Seriousmon Ace is that he is very powerful early game in combination with Arcturusmon. So Arcturusmon can evolve on anything Gammamon text for 4 memory. And when digivolving, you may place a Digimon card Gammamon's text from your trash underneath it to then delete your opponent's Digimon with whose level is equal to or less than the amount of sources that you have. So this can kind of like hit Digimon that Seriousmon at times can't, because it's level based instead of DP based, and that is kind of like easier to manipulate. But on delete, you can return a Digimon card from your trash to hand, and you can trash a Seriousmon to play Proximamon from your hand for free. The main thing though for Arcturusmon is the inherent, is that if you have Gammamon attacks and the Digimon is deleted, you may trash an opponent's security. This in combination with Seriousmon Ace is very, very powerful in the early game, as you can just hard drop Seriousmon Ace for 7, which for level 6 is very, very nice. Use its on-play effect to tuck the Arcturusmon underneath, delete something. Since it's early game, you're probably hitting a champion and a rookie, which is very, very easy to do. And then you get to trash a security because you delete something and you have Gammamon in your text. So it's very, very fast aggression. And then because now you're a Seriousmon with an Arcturusmon, you can evolve in your sources. You can now evolve into a Proximamon for free memory thanks to this alternate evolution cost. Proximamon is all turns. When another Digimon once per turn is deleted, you may play a level 4 or lower Digimon card with Gammamon its name from your trash without paying its cost. So this helps you go wide. It also lets you abuse your blocker in Gammamon, as you can block. Because your Digimon got deleted, Proximamon gets to play it back, and then you can block again, which is very, very powerful. It saved me a lot of times doing that play. The end of your turn, by placing one Digimon card with Gammamon's text from the hand or trash as this bomb evolution card, you may delete an opponent's Digimon's DP stats only equal to your own. Since you're level 7, your base at 15, which means you're probably deleting most things in the game, but a single Gammamon underneath you makes you 17, which then means you're practically killing anything. That's it for the Digimon in the deck. Let's move on to the Tamers. I'm playing 4 copies of the best Tamer RB1 Hero and 1 copy of BT8 Hero. BT8 Hero is just your general mem setter, but when you're swinging with a Gammamon name or level 5 or higher, you can tap it to give it an extra 2,000. RB1 Hero, though, is like the star of the deck. So it only costs 3 to play, and at the start of main, by placing a card with Gammamon its text from your hand, Gammamon its name, from your hand underneath any of your Digimon, you can gain a memory and draw a card. Very, very, very powerful effect. I've used this in combination in other decks, considering you just need to have a Gammamon in name to tuck under. But the thing you're tucking under doesn't actually have to be Gammamon related at all. It can actually be any Digimon, which is very, very helpful in terms of like making very wacky combination of decks with the Gammamon engine. Your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Gammamon in text by suspending its tamer, you get to give it 2,000 DP for the turn. This helps your guys get nice and massive, allowing you to like do stupid things with like Guru Gammamon and that kind of stuff. The last cards in the deck are just 4 copies of Offense Training. One of the reasons we've gone for a more red-oriented deck is because of this card. Now, you might be thinking that's kind of like bad deck design, focusing your deck around a simple option card, but in play, in action, and in testing, it actually works really, really nicely for this deck. As I alluded to before, the power of the Can of Ice one is that not only can your first stat be quite aggressively made fast, but your recovery play is almost faster. And that is in combination with the Offense Training, as you can just trash this to evolve into a red Digimon for 2 less memory. And since your Can of Ice can evolve on a level 3 for 3 memory, you're evolving from 3 to 5 for 1 memory. Meaning that you just need a hero. In fact, your opponent just needs to give you a turn and you'll be able to get into a level 5, because they have to give you 1 memory at the very least. So this combination of cards is very powerful. It's kind of like why I wanted to keep the deck the way it is, and kind of like this kind of like aspect of the build. And I got this build from a Ultimate Cup winning list in the what you could call the Gammamon format. And like that was kind of like the main inspiration for the general builder concept, which then I iterated and added in because it was post LM support. I then kind of like took the LM support and with my own knowledge of the deck and experience with the deck, and got into this kind of like ratio. But as always, you know, my build isn't always the best, and I'd love to hear your builds down below in the comments below. Let's try and make Gammamon, you know, great again, or just great in general, in terms of like probably the most popular, the public opinion. Yes, that is the build. I hope you all enjoy it. Leave your comments down below what you think of this, and again what your Gammamon decks are. I'd love to see your thoughts and opinions and texts down below. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Check down in the comments below as well for my digimondeckstats.com, and as always, happy dueling.